Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon, crypto, and thanks button in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and X. Now, we are joined by... Oh no, why isn't this working? I think my USB device has died. Yes, it worked. Thank God. We are joined by Paul, Refracted Curvature, John, Arthur B. Flat, Neil, and a whole bunch of people in Discord. So welcome, one and all.
The hell am I, Top Leather?
Huey is also here.
Damn, man. What the... Dude.
Got distracted.
Damn.
My buttons stopped working temporarily. What do you want?
So, were you listening to my conversation? Because you didn't say anything. You just went right into the intro.
That means no. That means I was definitely on mute, as were you. I wasn't listening to you, no.
Unbelievable.
While
So
I'm doing my intro, on time for a live stream, I should be listening to you.
I didn't hear that.
I should be listening to you rather than starting on time, is what you're suggesting.
Starting the damn conversation in there. I didn't know you were starting up the damn live stream, and then all of a sudden everything went quiet. So you didn't hear any of it?
Let me recommend this amazing invention. It's fantastic. It's called a watch.
I don't wear a watch, man.
That's your problem right there.
Never did. I can't stand jewelry. I don't have that. No necklaces.
Hello.
No
we have a routine here. This is not QE's open panel, right? We do housekeeping first before you waffle on about your problems with the time the show starts.
I don't got any problems. You're just conjuring them.
Oh, you were moaning. You were literally... Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere edge, formerly known as an Earth curve?
Ow!
Maybe in the land of misfit toys.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I was talking about. The land of misfit toys before I was rudely interrupted.
John knows how to make a segue into the live stream so that the audience knows what you're talking about. Perfect. Go ahead, QE. What's the land of misplaced toys?
Misfit toys. Yeah. Land of misfit toys. That's what it's that first, the gut, name that comes out. Because I was over on the Jane Fonda server. I think they call themselves Earth Awakenings. You know who Jane Fonda is, that geo-love friggin' traitor. But I wasn't in there. I was listening to one of the shows. They do it like 24/7. They post like 8 hours. And now that I'm on Rumble and a Nathan Oakley follower, people's been sending me videos. I was listening to a long one, and that's where I found the land of misfit toys. That means all the old ones that were destroyed over here, all the old baltards and a lot of pretender clown flat earthers, that's where they're at. If you're wondering where they went, they didn't quit. They're over there.
Doing what?
I'm glad you're keeping up.
Doing what? Over there doing what?
Doing what?
Yeah, what are they doing?
Arguing about the geometric horizon, obviously.
That's correct.
They're not doing that. It's back 2015. You got some new players over there that are friggin' numpty dipshits, but they're mainly like tender clown, like shits at 10 parroters. I heard some of the lingo being parroted over there. Dice lows over there. Jazzaconda.
Wait, you said dice slows over there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that figures.
Jazzaconda, Kosho, Issa. Every now Issa's up. Issa's not. Issa's cool. I like Issa. But if you wonder where they all went, that's where they went. to the land of misfit toys. That's all I got for you. There you go.
You know,
But now in 20,
just talking of
in
ESA.
20,
Sorry, go ahead, John.
in 2015, there was an argument, it seemed, that there was a hidden amount behind a geometric horizon. Was there not?
Yeah, there was. Yeah.
So yeah, in the land of misfit toys, they still argue about that.
Oh, I
I
now I
hate
see
it
the
over there.
connection.
Nobody wants to be a Charlie in the box.
I hate it over there. You can't reason with them.
So ESA can get a bit of credit in the navigation argument because he was the first to identify that you're measuring flat Earth when you do navigation. He was the first to point it out in 2016 and labour it. So go into detail about it.
Really?
Yeah.
And
ESA
he-
was there doing it.
and he-
Again, like with most things, I didn't recognise the significance of what he was detailing, but he was making a very explicit point about the same, without the details of the elevation angle measurements, but specifically about the area of equal elevation. That's what he was covering in 2016. So ESA was way ahead of the game.
Yeah, I mean that's what's up. You
square
know,
miles, miles
that's what's up. It's also, it's a positive and a negative when a person like that can also drag you into the land of belief, where everything is ambiguous, and you know, other people can believe what they want because we have our beliefs too, and nothing is objective. Yeah, very good job, Issa.
Yeah, it's a good guy. So who runs Earth Awakenings?
Geo Love, the friggin' Jane Fonda
Now,
traitor.
Geo, I like Geo. That's my guy.
Geo, that name rings a bell. Is he?
Friggin' scumbag,
Is he?
man.
Is he? Got the Geo that's been around in the conspiracy realm for like 15 years, and he's got a wife who's also in the conspiracy realm. Is that the guy?
I don't know about that.
That's Chris G.
Well, he's been around for a good while, at least in the Discord circuit.
Adam's got the answer. That isn't the same Geo.
No, that's the guy that runs Truth Frequency Radio.
Okay. Okay, so it's just familiar because it's a common name for whatever reason. Geo's suddenly common. Okay, great. So is he a friendly, this Jane Fonda?
What the? Well, you might consider him a friendly. Me, I'm gonna hang his ass from a yard arm.
Why is that?
Jane Fondas can never be a friendly. Get that?
Yeah.
Understand that?
Jane Fonda's a cook, isn't she? Like a homemaker.
Jane Fonda's the one that took pictures with the Vietnamese northern military when they were shooting down our sons over Vietnam.
Was she baking them cakes or something? Why?
Of course, it's the same thing over here. FED bad, America bad.
Jane Fonda was a well-known terrorist sympathizer, right, with the enemy. And that's what Geo is. He's a Jane Fonda. Because personally, with me, when his server first popped up, I was invited over there, so I went over. And these baltards started to come in, and they went immediately, because they don't have any fucking arguments.
No swearing.
Sorry, no swearing. I got it before you. So they, because they have no arguments, and they knew I was in the military, they went after my, they started ad homing me, saying this and this about my military record, when my wife can't even get into my military records. No one could see them. But they were pretty sure, so they were just making shit up. And I got a little, how would you say, maybe a tad upset at the ad homs, and I started to go off on them. But meanwhile, Geo, he muted me to let the baltards talk about my military career. So, Geo, if I ever see you personally, I'm going to rip your head off and shit down your neck.
No need.
No.
Yes, that's the QE I like.
I mean, I do
There you go.
get the hump when people misquote me. Just make something up that I haven't said, put quotes around it, and write the name Nathan Oakley after that. Sends me into a rage. I won't lie. And I can appreciate from what you've just detailed how this is similar. So you're going to detail my military history with me on mute, are you? And this isn't a pogue or a grunt. This is some civilian, right?
It's punk ass ball tarts.
Right.
No. Hello.
Yeah, I follow. Okay, but you're
There you
hanging
go.
around his
That's that.
server, right?
Again?
But you're hanging around his server.
Not now. Back then, it was about two, maybe 2.5 years ago, somewhere in that vicinity. Now, since I joined Rumble, now that I'm a Nathan Oakley follower, by the way, people have been sending me, Rumble videos. One just happened across my desk.
I see.
That's where I found out.
Now,
They
good.
have sort of. Go ahead.
Now I know the connection. That's what I was rooting for. Why are we talking about this? Now you've answered that. Okay, cool. Now we're back to square one. Okay.
Not really.
Well,
They're going to start saying that Nathan Oakley said he's going to rip somebody's head off and shit down their neck. They heard it this
Can you
morning.
stop with the swearing. Okay, right, fine. Jolly good. We all know what's what now. So, yeah, we're going to lead by example, though, as opposed to necessarily going into these servers to set them straight. Now, that might be the case for 24/7 because they're friendlies, right, QE?
Yes.
Yeah, so therefore it's just another home from home for the flat Earth debate, correct?
24/7.
I was gonna say, let's set that up. Like, get that done by Monday, right?
Yeah, well, maybe.
Baby steps.
Baby steps. I'm still having computer issues. I kind of lied when I was like, it's all sorted now. It wasn't. I just stopped moaning about it. Anyway, that aside, right? Yeah, we will mosey on into different Discord servers, but I'm just getting a lay of the land at the moment and finding out what's what with all of these different servers. I mean, up until this point, to me, all Discord is a place that I press a button on my magic box in the morning, it loads a screen that's already got people waiting for me, and I join it. That's what Discord is to me. Now, I appreciate it's got a lot more to offer, and I just need to go in without being totally ignorant like I am about Jane Fonda. Is that normal, by the way?
Well,
Am I
would say
abnormal to not
it's
know
just
the
about
Jane
same
Fonda
thing.
reference? My bad. Am I abnormal for not knowing the Jane Fonda reference?
I thought you were kidding. Everybody knows that, Nathan.
Obviously
I don't
not
know
Neil.
either. I don't know.
Hello.
Like Hanoi
Hey,
Jane.
Owen.
When you were like Hanoi Duran, or however you say it, Hanoi Duran.
Urane.
Durain. Hanoi Durain. Right, Hanoi Jane, Hanoi Durain. Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't know who Hanoi Jane was. I don't know.
It is because you're not a boomer. It's a
See,
Yeah,
Vietnam.
1968.
Just so we're clear, we're not saying that the USA's intervention in Vietnam was legitimate, are we? We're just making a joke.
Well, that's what I was going to. I've heard
It
of
was
it.
a police action.
Speak
But
for
I didn't know.
yourselves.
I
Proud
love
of
my wife.
country.
She just interrupted this live stream. She came in to show me how thick the crema was on the
Eli.
coffee she just pulled. My wife's ace. Literally just interrupted me. Look at the crema on this.
Nice. Yeah, but that's worthy of an interruption. When you get a good cream top, oh my gosh, you got to spread that out broad and wide. Take some pics.
Crema.
Yeah, you're talking about the top of the coffee. Am I wrong?
Yeah, the crema.
Right.
My wife's still smiling about it.
Well, she
The
should
little
be.
things.
Ooh, somebody's giving out memberships again.
Fantastic. I'm super poor.
I'll
I'm really
never be able to
appreciative.
get there.
It's surprising how you can get by without life's necessities if you've got life's luxuries. Thanks for the coffee, Paula.
Hey, you got one too, Neil.
Oh, Neil picked up a free membership. Check it out.
Nice. Thank you very much. It's about time.
Man, this has been the most laid-back, disorganised show we've had for a while. Right, shout out to Flat Earth Travolta, gifted 5 memberships. Really appreciate the support. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Speaking of Travolta, did anybody see that commercial where he's Santa Claus
Who
walking
really
Saturday
cares?
Night Fever music?
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
Who really cares? Yeah, no one. We don't care about that. Now, you need to get into Jane Fonda server, and that's the target-rich environment.
So where's the link?
Okay, so yeah, we will. That'll be the next step, right? We're going to 24/7, see what the lay of the land's like in there, run a few shows, and then make our way into other servers. Why not?
Maybe Elijah can help liaison that over to the Jane Fonda server.
Well, you're useless, so we'll have to ask him, won't we? When it came to 24/7, all you did was swoop in at the end and like, what's going on here? I've been in there forever. And I'm like, well, where were you helping me?
Swoop in at the end? What the hell are you talking about?
What'd I say? Like a week into me saying, yeah, I need to branch out. We need to go into some new servers and, you know, and assuring Righteous Force that we weren't going to desert him. Things like that, you know. And then a week later, you're like, why are you arranging this with Paul? I'm like, because Paul's arranging it. No other reason. You're like, yeah, but I've been there. It's like, well, have you liaised with them to make a nice little comfy landing for me to go into? Or are you just here telling me how long you've been in the 24/7 server? Fascinating that it is, and I appreciate you're a OG 24/7 Discord server.
Yeah, but can you? Because really, if you think about it, he's been there how long, and yet they're still talking about gas having weight and star rotation the opposite way.
Shut up.
This shit should have been. This stuff
Shut
should have been
up,
straightened
Neil.
out already.
Shut
Can't
up.
help it.
It was only a nuanced point, dude, and it's already been corrected. It's not like the whole server is like, gas has weight.
A little
Hell.
leaven leavens the whole lump.
Yeah, but how long until it will, John? You know,
Exactly.
dilapidation over time.
That link you sent me, Paul, just takes me to an error page for YouTube for some reason, as opposed to taking me to the server.
Yeah, I just changed it because I copied it from the YouTube chat, and they do something squirrely with their links. Don't they?
Oh, okay. Accept invite, Earth Awakenings. So if I accept the invite that you've sent, does that just immediately get me in there?
You have to voice verify, I think, to chat.
Open Discord.
So what's gonna happen if you broadcast from 24/7, and even if somehow we can get into politics, like people are going to come to the show. They're gonna want to interact and stuff like that. So we'll be able to do a little of the old school stuff, and we'll be able to do videos and share, like, you know, kind of the way we're setting 2024 off with the you know, that crowd over there. So new blood and a chance to really set the record straight.
Nice. Well,
I mean,
that's the whole. That's the hope of it, right?
Just one sec. When I look in Earth Awakenings, is that what it's called? Earth Awakenings? Is that the one you're talking about?
Yep. Jane Fonda server, yeah.
I thought Earth Awakenings was Gem Panda's server.
No.
Humans of Earth or something else.
Okay.
To make Flat Earth and more, maybe?
So are they already having a stream? Because as I'm in the server now, I'm looking at it, and they've already got a similar arrangement to us, right? So it says they're live now, and then advertising that they're on Rumble, Odyssey, and Twitch, right? And then you've got Apocryphon and all the rest of it. So presumably they're already streaming. So they're not going to want me to just jump in to their server, verified or otherwise, and just start streaming, right?
You never know. Try it.
Exactly. They may welcome it.
You reckon?
It's easier to beg forgiveness than ask permission.
Just
Can
get your ass
I
in
even
there.
go in? Can I just join it like I'd join ours?
You probably won't have permission to speak until you've
Yeah,
been
I'll talk to
verified.
Gio about it. I mean, he's free to come in here and
He's here.
whatever. Like, he can't take the shit over unless he is doing a show. Then yeah, he can take it over. But,
He's here right now.
They're discussing what we're discussing. Sorry, guys. Yes, I am running a show. I didn't know the logistics or politeness of joining something that's clearly a show you're already running. But I want to branch out and
no, it's all
say hello.
good.
No, we're just chilling. We're just flowing. I'm just a random guy, pretty new here. Benjamin, I think, is more of a veteran. We're just talking about stuff.
Who do I
Pretty
actually
new to this
ask?
channel.
Who do I ask for
What's up,
forgiveness or permission? Who do I ask?
Probably Jeremy.
Yeah, Jeremy.
Jeremy.
Probably give him a host.
Hello, Jeremy.
What's up? What's up, Oakley?
Do you mind me being here? I am producing a show, and I can tell that you are too, and I don't want to step on any toes. If I'm imposing,
That's fine. You can share audio. Just follow the rules. There's no no insults or nothing, and we'll be good.
I don't know the rules.
No doubt. It's all good then.
What are the rules?
Oh, just like no insulting, no
Oh.
name calling, shit like that.
Oh, standard stuff.
We were getting deep on vaccines and
Relax, he's on air. Don't say the he's on action on YouTube.
I like you guys already.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Excellent.
keep it
So we
YouTube
basically can't talk about anything now.
yeah. Keep it YouTube
Of
friendly.
course you can talk
oh
about
my
something.
bad.
I mean, there's a genuine reason why I'm branching out into different Discord servers, and it's because moving into 2024, the message that I want to put forth to people is that we should move as flat earthers on the front foot, telling people how Earth is dealt with and seeking agreement where they appreciate it to be measured flat, rather than pointing out that they've been deceived, which puts you on the back foot with them resenting the fact that you are there, telling them how wrong they were and how deceived they've been. Whereas if you, for example, we had a neurologist, and the neurologist was telling us Earth's so big, that's why it's measured flat, demonstrating he has an appreciation of Earth being measured flat. Well, we should lead with that, so that they agree, rather than saying, you're stupid, you thought you were on a globe, you've been deceived, you need an open mind. That's what we've done to date. I want that to change. We're flat earthers, we know it's measured flat, let's highlight that in the first instance. That's the message I'm here for. There you go, that's my piece, I'm done.
Nice. We were talking about this earlier, I think a little bit, talking about just how do you frame it in a way that is kind of gets around the communication barrier around it, rather than trying to, prove them wrong on whatever context they want to create or that comes up.
Yeah, I don't generally like when I'm doing like street evangelism, I guess you could say. I don't hit them with that. I kind of have a couple of litmus tests to see where they're at, and then try to break down paradigms that I know are going to conflict with it before I jump headlong into, hey, there's not a spinning water ball flying to the infinite vacuum of space.
Yeah, we're trying to do the opposite of that. I think that's what Nathan's saying. Cut right through all of that. Earth is
Not the
measured
opposite.
flat. That's it.
Not necessarily the opposite. As a reaction, yes, obviously you're going to get into the wrangle-dangle of debating about Earth being a sphere because that's your opponent's positive position. I get that. But I'm saying from a starting point, we should be asserting Earth is flat in terms of its measurements and seeking our opponent's approval with their also in place understanding that it's flat, rather than starting with Earth isn't a ball, you've been deceived.
That kind of helps with presenting burden of proof.
Exactly.
To bring a positive claim instead of attacking their claim.
Exactly. Rather than instigating their positive assertion that Earth's a sphere for you to argue against, making them the positive claimant and you the defendant of that claim that they've put forward in a positive light. But you've started it by saying Earth's not a sphere. It's like Earth is measured flat. As you well know, globe believer, you need it to be flat too.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, we know it's measured flat. They use rise over run when they build everything. Is rise over run. It's definitely measured flat. I hear you.
Yeah, he's really pointing out something interesting though. If you consider just the ability to communicate with an everyday person about this information without getting, like the knee jerk, okay, this guy doesn't even understand basic physics, and like getting into that argument or whatever, you actually kind of allow them to maybe figure out those inconsistencies themselves by making the claim the Earth is flat starting out, and then not creating any context, not giving them anything to go off of. Just like the truth is the Earth is flat, and if they want to present burden of proof for the opposition, you can jump in that natural conversation after that.
Plus, you have a certain amount of confidence that you can bestow on an audience. In our case, now collectively, because that's what we do. We communicate this to audiences. Well, you can have their assurance because of your confidence if you start with it as a statement of fact, which it is, as opposed to a positive claim that you need to defend and prove. Earth, you've given the example of rise over run. Perfect. We were discussing that yesterday. Also, that's a principle that you can stand on immediately without having to postulate it as a positive claim. It's a statement of fact. That's how we deal with Earth. Flat. Fact. Not up for debate, not up for discussion, a statement of reality.
Are we in another server right now? What's going on?
Yeah, I completely
Yeah,
just
it's not
dumped
even.
our server for this server. I'm a total whore. Completely fickle as they come.
It's not even. It's not even like a
Where
debate.
are
Like
we
they use
where
Rise
are we
over
right
Run
now?
when they.
We're in Earth
Is that-
Awakenings.
Is that Jeremy?
Yeah, it is Jeremy.
Chocolate,
Yo,
what
Jeremy,
up?
what up, bro? Yo,
Lounging.
what it do, bro?
Lounging.
Been a minute.
Chilling. Yeah.
Do you?
I like the merging.
I mean, yeah, we use Rise
Merging is
over
a
Run
good
to
thing.
build everything.
Go ahead, Jeremy. Sorry to be running this server like
We
it's
use
mine.
Rise
It's not.
over Run when we build everything on.
Yeah.
You guys
exactly.
good?
Well, my point is that
We use Rise over Run when we build everything on Earth, and that's a baseline of a horizontal, and raising or lowering that is a rise or lowering of elevation, which obviously only works on a planar Earth with topography. So it's not even a. I don't even know what we're even still arguing about. This shit's over.
Perfect. You're already singing singing from my hymn sheet, which is beautiful. Perfect, Jeremy. Right? Yes, that with a lot more confidence in the tone. It is factually fat. That is how it is measured. That is how it is dealt with. You can't get around it. You can't debate it. You can't discuss it. So when you say, I don't even know why we're discussing this, yeah, that's the attitude. That's what I'm trying to instill in flat earthers. By comparison, I don't know how many of this server can remember the attitude that Rumpus would take with us back in 2015, 16, 17, where he would go out of his way to overtly state that, for example, sextants only work on a globe. That sort of outright, balls out, dogged confidence in a total lie. Now, what I'm suggesting is we take the same attitude, just without needing to lie like Rumpus had to. Earth's measured flat. No questions, ifs, buts, or maybes isn't a statement you'd make after that, just the statement. Earth is flat. And you can be confident in that because it's factually accurate. And the arguments that have been put forward over the last couple of years, starting with the Black Swan moving past the annihilated globe to proving Earth is measured, navigated, built on, this example from Jeremy, flat. That's how we deal with it. So we shouldn't be on the back foot defending why Earth isn't a globe anymore as flat earthers. Why? That's the past. Yeah, we used to be on a globe, but my comparison is to say, if you were to leave Scientology as a cult, would you suddenly go back knocking on the gates, asking them to teach you more about how Scientology works so you can show them how it doesn't? No. Well, that's what we're doing. Knocking on the doors of heliocentrism and saying, look how it don't work. We should stop yelling through the gates of heliocentrism back at them about how Earth isn't a sphere and trying to unindoctrinate all the cult members who are still in that compound. Now, they're stuck in the compound. What do you do as an alternative to telling them how wrong they are through the gates? You walk around with your head held high saying Earth is flat, that's how it is. Your confidence will shine, people will recognise that. But at the moment, all they get to hear is a constant false dichotomy argument about how the globe should or shouldn't work, how heliocentrism should or shouldn't work, how orbits do or do not match up with what we observe. All based in heliocentrism. None of it based in what we should have, which is an absolute assurance in the facts of the matter, which is Earth's measured flat. That's how we should be starting out.
Are you going to take some responsibility though for keeping that false dichotomy going for years?
What false? We don't have a false dichotomy. It's the globe's false dichotomy.
You kept that false dichotomy going for years.
Who's saying that? Sorry, just so I can know.
That's Merle.
Merle.
I recognize that voice any moment.
What's your screen name?
Yep.
Okay, who cares?
Space Monkey.
Space Monkey. Okay. Sorry, what's your question again, Space Monkey?
You were involved in keeping the false dichotomy going for years. That was always the criticism of you. When you first started, you used to interview people and be cordial. You want to hear their stories. Then you turned into this debate monster.
The debate monster? So what you're saying is I should have some guilt for my journey through the false dichotomy, which I've also propped up. I will accept that guilt.
I think you should definitely take some responsibility for the toxic, vile venom you spat at the globe. Yeah.
Oh, shut up.
Merle, you haven't been an angel.
Everyone stop.
Hold on, guys.
Stop. Everyone stop.
And then
I want
they
to hear his
mimicked your
objection.
behaviour.
Fine.
They mimicked your behaviour, your toxic, vile stuff that came out of you.
Okay, I heard it the first time.
While you were the host of that show.
Okay, I heard the first time. Yes, I will take full ownership and responsibility for my toxic, vile behaviour and explain why. My toxic, vile behaviour was through a lack of confidence in my own subject matter. I did not know the earth was flat. And my disdain permeated my every being and my every piece of my every existence because I was a flat earth believer and caught up in the feast of nonsense, perpetuating the false dichotomy that you now object to. And you're right to. And I should take ownership of that, and I should take responsibility of that. While I've got the likes of Paula on the panel, not my wife, telling me, this is unbroadcastable, I can't share this. You're poisonous to the people I want to share this with. And I've had to go, okay, I need to have some introspection, look at the mirror, recognise how ugly what I'm looking at is, and make some adjustments. Now, I can only have this conversation because I've already done this prior to you having this grievance, which I agree with. Might put a lump in my throat, but you're right. Toxic, poisonous, venomous, all of those words are true. That'll have to change for me to get my message across, and I will have to take ownership when you criticise me of it, as much as it puts a lump in my throat.
We've
Thank you
all
for the
gotten
criticism.
crazy. All right, Marla, you walk around. Don't walk around like you ain't been wilding either.
He's not on the. He's not the one. He's not the one preaching to you. I am. So he's. Why you do what you like? That's not my.
It's okay. I want you to know a lot of people out here have a lot of respect for you, Nathan. But just if you can just adjust a couple of things, you're fine. We're all learning. We're all the Darwin thing evolving, but we're learning, and I'm feeling it too, Nathan. It's a decade for some people, 2024. And a lot of people are reflecting about where we're going, how we can bring this home. So you're a leader in it. I just want to see, like, when I first discovered you, I actually reached out to you back in the day, and Antonio and whatever, but you used to bring people's stories out of them. You're a really good interviewer. You still just don't forget that other side of you. Okay?
Yeah, you've got to be careful you don't become the monster you're fighting against. And there is an aspect of that in me. I appreciate that. Now, it's not the first time I've had to assess my own demons. Done that in the past.
Yeah, me
I
too.
like the monster.
Recently. I've had to do that recently. So, yeah, that's why I can so confidently cover the subject and immediately take ownership. It's not because you've given me a revelation on this spot. I've already made those assessments. I've already looked in the mirror. And you're right.
Good man. Good man.
Amen.
Me too, mate.
But let's not make this about me, because me, moving forward, I just want to give off an air of confidence to everybody who hears me talking about the subject of flat Earth. Now, if I can lead by example, if you perceive me in that way, fine, great. If you want to perceive me as a leader and you see that as positive, then great. What I will do to achieve that is to lead by example, to say, we are on a flat Earth, that is how it is measured. I've not added any of the caveats that I added previously when I've said that, which say, without having to argue about it, without having to debate about it, without having to question it, because it's a statement of fact. When you make the statement, it doesn't need any garnish, it doesn't need any caveats, because it's a statement of fact. Now, if we're in the positive assertion position of a flat Earth, we should make that clear. Go ahead.
They're claiming you were some sort of monster. So you just woke up one morning and started attacking people? There was certain events that transpired to get you in this position where you're a monster debater. I like the monster.
Well, I don't.
Well, that's Nathan's point. Nathan's point was that.
And Nathan recognized it like really early, even though it hadn't have a name. You felt it, Nathan, and you set that new standard. You put that heel in the sand and like, this is the place. This is where we should be, and not all this nonsense that was happening everywhere. All the flat earthers and like, oh, we're a movement. Oh, it's a religion. You recognized that very early, and that's what made you so hard. And there's nothing bad about it. Okay? If you think
Well, I'll tell you right now, I
Go on, tell us right now.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I'll tell you right now, I came in like you did, Oakley. I saw your first videos. You were calm, peaceful, cordial. I came in like that too. I spent two years in GEMS. I was a raging lunatic at the time. It was crazy.
There you
This
go.
changes you. I hear you.
But I get that I could offer up mitigation to the objection that was immediately stamped down by Neil, as if to say it's unreasonable to call me a monster, right? Well, I could just mitigate for it. Yeah, we're dealing with monsters, and the way they behave makes me behave that way. But I'd rather qualify it by saying, be careful you don't become the monster you're fighting against. Just because I gave an example of Rumpus earlier, with his confidence backed by a lie, as opposed to his deceit, deception, his constant trickery and tactics. Those aren't things that are positive. But in past debates, those are tactics I've had to use because I've had a flat earth belief. But we're way past that now. I don't feel necessarily the need to become a monster. I can still get irritated when people constantly talk past 6 examples of the same debunking of their claim. That's going to irritate anybody. But what I'm not hopefully portraying is the monster they are back at them because I've become one. Well, I don't want this to be about me other than the attitude I'm taking towards the subject of flat earth, which is, it is a flat earth. Notice how every time I make the example, I'm not mentioning heliocentrism. As I mentioned at the beginning, all that does is gets people's back up. Are you saying I'm wrong? It's easier to lie to somebody than to convince them that they've been lied to. Well, as soon as you start on the you aren't on a globe as you believe to be, they are going to be defensive. Starting with the, maybe you might listen to this and go, no, I can't start on the front foot of flat earth because I'll immediately get ridiculed. Yeah? How is that any different to anything that's changed? The only way that will change is if you know that's a fact and laugh off every stupid idiot nonsense that gets thrown at you from a globe believer when you state that as fact. And as you get better in debate, you'll learn how to find their examples of a globe that require Earth to be measured flat. So in other words, when you're dealing proactively with reactively to their globe claims, you're taking their claims and reinforcing the original premise you started with. Earth's measured flat. Oh, well, we've got orbits. Well, orbits that are derived from angle measurements off a flat plane of reference to give you the equatorial plane. Your orbits need a flat Earth. So you're always on the front foot. Not attacking, but it kind of is. Like, that's why I use Rumpus as the example. Not to emulate his scummy behaviour, but to emulate his confidence when he made declarations of fact like, sextants only work on a globe. Sextants only work on a flat Earth. Now, if you're going to move forward on the front foot, you might find yourself trolling globe believers and telling them things like Rumpus did. Sextants only work on a flat Earth. They do. But that's an attitude adjustment as opposed to an argument adjustment when we're all starting from the it's not a globe point of view.
Right, and when you start digging into it, that's when the globers start to show you, like, oh, look, see, celestial navigation does work. You just go on a flat plane on the middle of the globe, and then inside of the globe, you take the angle, and that's supposed to represent the surface. And then you notice, like, wait, what the hell is
Angles
that?
from hell.
When I listened to QE last night,
yeah, you were listening to QE.
When I listened to QE last night, yeah. It appears, you said, you got to go forward with this as a statement of fact. But people were asking for, how is it measured flat then? Seems like they haven't had the presentation yet. They don't have that. That was the questions, like from Adam and people. They don't know how to explain that, how to move forward and gain more knowledge and not just win a debate with a statement of fact.
I mean, it's not very hard to explain how rise over run works. Hold on, somebody's got some echo.
I was going to say we've got a bit of echo from someone in Discord. While that's being sorted out, I'm really sorry if you, again, cut it through your stream when I'm a guest. But I'm going to have to shout out to my super chats. I've got to pay the bills. So a couple of shout outs to my live audience. Really appreciate the support, first and foremost. So shout out to Sensual Goat. Going up to the soil in the sky. That's what they claim when they lie. And I die and lay me to rest. It's the soil in the sky that's the best. I think I've sung that terribly, but there we go. That was his super chat. Thank you for the super chat, Sensual Goat. Really appreciate it. Also, shout out to Godzilla 37, this is Globers from 2015, quote, "You guys are complete morons. Complete idiots," end quote. Globers 24, "You guys are big meanies. Stop picking on us." Right on. Thanks for the super chats. I'm glad you've been welcoming, by the way, Earth Awakenings. This is all very nerve-wracking for me coming into new servers.
I mean, I came up off you personally. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't a lot of people doing this back then, and I learned a lot from listening to your show. I'm a whiz at the Coriolis. They call me the Coriolis kid.
Yeah, I was moaning about that with Owen Benjamin. Owen Benjamin demonstrated an exemplary understanding of the Coriolis effect, only to then go on and start regurgitating Dave Weiss feast of nonsense garbage about anti-globe stuff. Precisely what we're trying to brace against, literally moving into 2024. We've been doing it 4 days. Anyway, he hasn't realised that in the last 4 days we've had a change of attitude. Anyway, Owen Benjamin is good with the Coriolis effect, right to the point where you may have seen Globe Earth Sniper, where he basically someone's taken his words and put it into cartoon form, where he's got a little jape of two guys saying, right, I'm just going to take into account the windage and adjust my sights, and brilliant, let's get the shot on target. And the guy next to him says, oh, what about the Coriolis effect? And details how Earth should be turning underneath. In other words, to make it into a comedy routine, you've got to know how the effect works, which he clearly does. So it kind of disappoints me that Owen Benjamin hasn't continued that, with one of the hardest subjects into some of the easier subjects that just demonstrate Earth's measured flat. Instead, he's like pausing my video that he's used as an example of gas pressure not needing, requiring containment, and paused on the bit where it shows a model of the heliocentric model and saying, that's what they say it is. It's like, we all need a focus readjustment. We've left the globe, right? We did it with NASA about 5 years ago. I don't know if you guys can remember when we were like, why are we knocking on NASA's door telling them it's fake still? Just turn your backs on these psychopaths. They're liars. We know they're liars. So hence, since then, on Flat Earth Debate at least, we've covered less and less and less of NASA because we've turned our backs on them. We know you faked it all. We know space is fake, but that means we do very little coverage on NASA. We should be the same with the ball, right? It's like Scientology for an ex-Scientologist. Don't get me wrong, there's YouTubers that make a living growing up in Scientology being one of the channels that I still watch, who makes a living out of covering Scientology when he's left Scientology. Well, I'm saying for us as flat earthers, we're not about highlighting the cult of the globe. The majority of the Western world's already in it. So we don't need to add fuel to that fire. We need to take a totally different route and turn our back on the globe. But that mental readjustment means, yeah, you might still need to be able to overcome globe arguments, but most of the people who are in this forum right now already have the tools and skills to be able to do that because that's all you've been trained in. It's like, well, from now, great, that's in your arsenal, marvellous. But moving forward, know you're a flat earther, know Earth's measured flat, and know that should be the first thing you're iterating to anybody who you happen to bring up this subject with. Great if you can overcome their globe rebuttals, if they offer you them when you're the positive claimant, with a statement of fact as a starting point.
Well, I don't want you to jump on NASA too much. As a hostile witness, NASA is a cut above the rest for using a flat plane and telling people about it.
Yeah, we do reference them as a hostile witness for using a flat plane. That makes them useful in more recent times, last year maybe.
What is the proof you offer then? We have to offer along with the statement.
We just offered one. So, for instance, NASA, when they're describing the plane of the ecliptic or the equatorial plane, all of those descriptions that NASA will offer you are with reference to a horizontal plane of reference, a flat Earth. It's required for their orbital motions. Every single globe
NASA
proof.
measured it flat.
Say again.
So what you're saying?
I'm saying
what I should say if somebody asked me. NASA measured it.
You can say that it's navigated flat. If you want to just take an example that's less contentious, I mean, I'm giving you an example with a hostile witness. You don't have to do that. It's just a rewiring of the mentality. Earth is navigated flat. The maps are flat. They're taking elevation angles to a surface that's been plotted flat and has a grid system that's measured flat, the latitude and longitude system. It's measured with flat angles to Polaris, getting bigger as you move away from it. Well, those angles as they
It's
decrease to
measured
the
off
horizon.
horizontals, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah,
measured off horizontals. But what I struggle with is where is the flat bit?
what you're dealing with when you navigate it is an area of equal elevation. So when you draw out that circle
You
around
can
you,
measure that off of a horizontal for sure. Yeah.
yeah. So
But that doesn't vary in relation to the ground under my feet. Where is the flat
Yes, it
bit?
does.
Because I don't see a flat bit. I see elevation change up and down. I don't.
Elevation change. Okay, let's start with that. Okay, so I'm suggesting, before I give you my example with respect to your example, like I'm suggesting you do with globe heads, you take their example and show how Earth is measured flat with it. Did you say there's changes in elevation?
I mean, not only is it rise over run,
I'm jumping to that. Hold on. Sorry, Jeremy. Sorry, just one
hold
sec,
on a
Jeremy. I just want to get to the end of this with is it Elder Bear?
Go ahead.
Elder Bear.
What's your name, sorry?
Yeah. Elder Bear.
You said there's elevation, differences in elevation, you say, correct?
Yeah, there's, yeah.
How do you qualify those differences in elevation? Do you know?
Well, you could get a horizontal reference point and measure elevation change.
So with
but what I hear described is that it's in relation to the sea level. So somewhere, because of the sea has a mean sea level, that's where the flat bit of the Earth starts. And I don't see where that is.
You don't
It's
appreciate
flat baseline. That's what I'm trying to find. The flat baseline.
Yeah, you've just described a horizontal plane of reference, though, haven't you? With respect to
yeah, but that's not the Earth. That's not the Earth.
So when you're describing
a horizontal plane,
I just need to respond
same
to
as
you.
a horizontal.
I got you. I heard it all. I just need to be able to respond to you. Is that okay?
Give me a second, Nathan. Elder Bear, when you ask your question, please let the other person respond. You just can't keep interrupting in the middle of his.
There's a bit of a lag on my phone. That's all.
Okay. So you're describing the differences of elevation with respect to a horizontal baseline. That's Earth and its differences in heights with respect to Earth as a plane, as a reference. So overall, the topology and how high or low it is with respect to Earth as a horizontal plane of reference. Earth is flat to describe these elevation changes that you objected to Earth being flat with.
But there isn't a horizontal on the Earth.
So how do you know the differences in height?
To measure from that horizontal.
Yeah, I
got establish a horizontal.
I heard you the first time. It's the same objection you just raised, and I said, how do you describe differences in elevation then?
Well, you can establish it off a horizontal reference point.
So a horizontal plane of reference then. So we are establishing the differences in height on Earth with respect to a horizontal plane of reference. So that's a flat Earth then.
There isn't the Earth.
So when you're describing heights of elevations of stuff on Earth, it's not the Earth.
You can.
It is the Earth. Why are you disagreeing? It is the Earth. Absolutely.
Well, that's what I mean. Where is that horizontal? I can't go outside and just.
You established it from. You established it with your description from sea level, the mean. That's what you described.
Yeah, but that's not the Earth.
Is it not? Sea level isn't Earth.
No.
Why is it everything has to? Why is it that when we come to referencing differences in elevation or anything that has to do with navigation, we're having to establish Earth as a horizontal plane of reference? We're referencing it, and then you say it's not Earth.
To the plane of the horizon.
I'm finished. Yeah. We're referencing Earth, and then you tell me it's not Earth. And then jabber through me while I explain that horizontal plane of reference is Earth. That's exactly what it is. And you just keep interrupting me, telling me it isn't, like I haven't heard you 5 times. Can I get to the end of my statement? Horizontal plane of reference, that's what you will reference when describing Earth. Response from you, it isn't Earth. Yes, it is.
Right. When you talk about the horizon to establish a horizontal, that's where sea level meets the earth or sky. So you need the sea to be a level horizontal plane of reference to establish your horizontal to begin with, bro.
Yeah, I just want everyone to know. Hold on, real quick. I just want everyone to know. Most of us here do not share these this crazy elevation change thing. And I try to not even give this a lot of time because it's kind of like
Isn't it? But that's
irrelevant.
reality,
But
though.
hold on, man. Hold on. You can go next. Yeah, I like to ask these people, is the horizon horizontal? Because they'll probably tell you yes. That's Earth, right?
Yeah, that's
Horizontal Earth.
That's utilizing
No,
the horizon to establish a
plane of the
horizontal plane of
horizon.
reference also, yes.
Yeah.
If I can add something, Nathan, it's a
yeah.
fallacy of composition to say that the water is not the Earth. Or division, fallacy of division. Am I correct? Yes.
Yeah, I heard him say that.
That's identity. Isn't that identity?
Either
Water
way,
isn't the Earth, is it?
Either way, to
let's
describe
get back
elevation,
to it, though.
either way, Earth must be
Hold on.
established and referenced as flat. This is a fact.
The water, that's a mean sea level, an average.
An average of how flat it
Yeah,
is.
so
Yes, an average of how level the Earth is to be referenced. Yes, an average of how level Earth is, sea level, level being the Earth that you're referencing for heights of the Earth, that is the Earth that you said it wasn't. That's where we're at. It is. You're just incorrect. I'd like you to establish and understand that when we're referencing a horizontal plane of reference, that's the ground that we're dealing with. We are referencing it. And you say it's not Earth. You're just wrong. I'd like you to acknowledge that.
So it's mean Earth flatness. Is that what you say?
Yeah, sea level, that's part of Earth. Yeah,
And
the
when
level that it gives you, yes, that's Earth. Yes, we're dealing with Earth when we deal with that. Yes, we're referencing a horizontal plane, that's Earth. Yes, yes, absolutely yes. Why are you asking me 6 times? Yes.
Because I'm not walking on a flat Earth.
Oh, so we're not walking on the
Even
height.
if the sea,
So we're
even if
not
the
walking.
water is level.
We're not walking on different heights of things that you objected with.
Yo, Oakley, add in proportion to the whole. It's a level plane for the gentleman because he's referencing topography. And yo, what up, Oakley? Big up.
Hey, Asa, good to have you.
It's a topographical plane.
You've got lots of.
So what about
Right.
the
So,
land?
in proportion to the whole, we deal with it as a level plane.
Yeah,
well,
it's a plane with topography.
Yes.
I mean,
so Earth is measured flat. That's what it is. It's flat. We're referencing it flat. It's being measured flat. We're dealing with it flat. And we've got flat mean measurements of it flat. So Earth's measured flat then. We all clear?
What about the Earth under that then?
Under the mean
not
sea
only
level.
that, but
sorry, what does this non
What about
sequitur
the
do?
Earth under the mean sea level?
Sorry,
Is that
what
hanging
does this
underneath,
do?
hanging on the baseline?
Sorry, so are we conceding now that it is Earth, my friend?
No.
I see.
No, because underneath the sea level is Earth too. Is that hanging on the baseline? How does that work?
There's curvy bits beneath the flat part.
Is he spending too long in
Well,
bed?
you're establishing this kind of flat.
Hold on a second. Before we come in,
Well, give me a
guys,
second, y'all.
right,
Give me a second.
we'll just establish his objection and then we'll address it. His objection. Underneath the horizontal plane of reference, we must have to reference that is Earth so we can describe differences in elevation. He's saying the differences in elevation underneath sea level used to establish those differences in elevation when referencing a flat Earth isn't flat under the horizontal plane of reference that we use to reference Earth as a flat plane. That's his objection. Adam, it seemed like you wanted to address that. Feel free.
Yeah, I think there's 2 points of argument there. The first is the gotcha he thinks he's got where water isn't sea. But fundamentally, dude, you referencing something underneath your point of reference, yeah, or referring to something, you're still using that flat plane of reference. Now, whether that's mean sea level, the sea level, wherever it is, it's still a flat plane that is the surface. This is the trick with the ballers. They do not have the surface being the same thing as their established planes. For us, it is. Yeah.
What was the knowledge you were looking for last night?
Just to bring us back to something real quick, though. Just to bring us back to something real. We know it's flat because they're doing Euclidean geometry on the surface, right? If it was concave or convex, they couldn't be doing Euclidean geometry. They laid America and England out in grid squares, 90-degree angles, straight lines. So we know it's a plane with topography.
Basically, elevation changes from a point.
Nobody's denying.
Sorry, it's a bit further. Sorry, did you say elevation changes from a point? Do you believe sea level is a point?
Well, from wherever that was established in each country, from but from a mean, but the sea,
So that doesn't answer my question.
Constant.
You said a point. I heard what you stated. You said with reference to a point, and I asked you, is sea level a point?
The guy was talking. The guy was. I don't know where it was measured from. What he was talking about.
Bear.
Is the horizon tangible?
Guys,
I just need to establish from the guy that said that it's with reference to a single point when we're describing, referencing the Earth, that he said it isn't and still disagrees because it's from a single point. That's his next argument. No, sea level's not a single point.
No,
it is a point on all vertical datums. If you want to describe it that way, that would be a horizontal.
The guy was talking about measuring the land wherever he was measuring it, and that was how it was measured. And that was measured from some datum point, wasn't it? Wherever he's talking about, I don't know. Different in different countries where they established it and started from. Wherever that may be, I don't know where that was.
Whatever what may be. You're being quite careful with your words. Where it may be, what sea level? That's a single point.
I don't know where they measured it from. I don't know what he's talking about.
What's it?
What he's referencing.
What's it that they're measuring at sea level?
Yeah, that's how elevation in this country, in the UK, it's measured from the elevation change from wherever they started from
sea level. From sea level, not a single point then, as you just declared. Not a single point then.
Yeah, but that's not.
So but why are you talking through me? You've proven wrong. You've just declared it's a single point, and now you won't stop yammering through the fact that you're wrong for the second time. No, sea level's not a single point that they're referencing. It's with respect to the Earth as a flat plane of reference, all of it. That's Earth being referenced. You've disagreed, and now you're saying it's a single point. That's also wrong. And when you keep going into the single point you defend, you say it. No, sea level. My question was, is sea level a single point?
Well, which point was it measured? That's
a question for me rather than an answer. So I'm being asked something. You said it was a point.
That is a point.
No, it's not. Sea level's not a point. No, it isn't. That's wrong. Again, you're wrong.
Where was the first datum point positioned?
Right, single datum point for sea level?
In the UK.
Single datum point for sea level. Sea level has a single datum point. Why am I being yammered through? I asked a simple question. Is it a single point? Sea level. It isn't. Sony silence now.
I mean, you can put this argument to bed.
I don't need someone else to help him. I've got a stony silence and then someone else sees that as their opportunity to talk. No, it's okay. He's wrong. It's not a single point. Every time I make this argument, I get a stony silence when we get to the concession that he doesn't make. I don't need anybody else to interrupt. It's not a single point. It's establishing Earth, that's the ground, as a horizontal plane of reference. That's Earth being flat when we establish it with sea level. It's not a single point. You are wrong.
Yeah, the water's level, you're right.
Right, so that's Earth being measured flat then. You seem to want to disagree with me and my total confidence in the fact that Earth is absolutely and unequivocally being established as flat. You disagreed. You were wrong.
Somebody says, how was it proved to be measured flat?
Because you've measured it flat. That's how you prove it, because you've just measured it as a horizontal plane of reference. That's measuring it flat.
No, I just measure. I don't measure flat.
Yes, you do. That's what you did when you referenced Earth, the horizontal plane of reference with sea level that isn't a single point. It's Earth as a horizontal plane of reference. That's measuring Earth flat.
What about the stuff underneath it then?
Sorry, back to your do-si-do round the circle straw man, because you can't concede you're wrong with your single point that it isn't. It's Earth as a horizontal plane of reference. Not new question from me about what's below the horizontal plane of reference with non-stop constant interruption because you've been proven wrong. That's not necessary.
Listen, when I first came into this, people pointed out the contradiction of the globe, and the biggest thing they pointed out to me.
That's fascinating. I came to this subject doing the same, and now I point out Earth's measured flat and have numpties like you telling me that sea level is a single point. I'm dealing with numpties who don't appreciate Earth is actually measured flat. and they decide that they're just going to waffle their nonsense about how they came through this subject after I've proven them wrong. Earth is established as a horizontal plane of reference. You said that was wrong, and you are wrong. You don't need to constantly interrupt and yammer through me. It's not going to work.
Give me
I
one
think
second.
I know where his
need to
misunderstanding
both of
is.
y'all calm down. It is very audio chaos when both of you are talking at the same time. You need to be one at a time at all times.
Well, if you think this is, good leadership on your behalf,
Elder Bear.
I don't agree. You're not my.
Earth is measured flat. I'm not going to listen to an ad hom. Not interested in what you perceive my behaviour to be. Earth's measured flat. You've established it flat. Horizontal. That's a plane of reference. So while I'm saying this, the guy in Discord's now talking straight through me, just for your benefit, Bookfin. You're moaning about audio chaos, so I was in the middle of a sentence. He doesn't like it because he's wrong. Therefore, he's jabbering through the top of me. You could stop him, or you can moan about the audio chaos he's causing. Meanwhile, I'm saying Earth is measured flat. You've measured it flat. You've established a horizontal plane of reference. You've conceded it's not a single point. Now you want to move on to a different subject. No, I'm here to tell you that's the starting point. Earth has been and is in your example measured flat. It's not a single point. It's Earth being established as a horizontal plane of reference. That's the fact of the matter we will start with. I'm telling you, not asking you. That's not a debatable point.
Oakley, I understand your frustration with this. It's ridiculous. Elevation changes, so it's borderline silly. It's pretty silly.
Making sure I.
Hold on, he doesn't have confidence.
No, everyone in my panel.
Hold
Everyone
on,
in my
man.
panel, just stop for a second. The guy who constantly is interrupting has now been server muted. I did not do that. The reason he was server muted is because he cannot contain himself when wrong, like a globe believer. He's incorrect. Earth's measured flat and established flat. His example made that clear. Then he denied that established Earth, the thing you're referencing, as flat because it wasn't Earth. Then it wasn't underneath the reference that was horizontal plane of reference for Earth. These objections are non-stop because he's been proven wrong. Someone in this server, not me, put him on mute.
May I try to help him with his
rumpusing the hell out of
understanding?
you. I muted him.
Yeah, don't blame you.
Hold on, can I just finish my thing real quick? This argument is ridiculous. The Earth's not flat because of elevation changes. They use rise over run. They laid the UK and America out in grid squares, 90-degree angles, straight lines. You can't do that if it's curving. It has to be flat.
Yeah, but what about underneath?
Well, I think I know what his problem is.
Well, the abyssal plains that cover 70% of the Earth's surface. Those
Yes.
flat
The
plains.
thing is, he doesn't have.
Just
Sorry,
let
he
John.
doesn't have confidence. John, give him
Neil,
confidence,
can you
John.
hear John trying to get an example out for the fourth time?
Sorry.
Right. You establish a horizontal plane of reference at your eye level. That eye level will be parallel with mean sea level, which is another horizontal plane of reference. Both of those horizontal planes of reference will run parallel with whatever sea level you're measuring at the time. The horizon is where sea level meets the sky. They are all interdependent and dependent upon Earth being measured as flat.
Perfect. Good summary. But yet we're objected to. I don't really understand why people who claim to be flat earthers object to us saying Earth's measured flat and referenced as flat when they reference it as flat and then tell us it's not the Earth. That seems utterly absurd. But that's what this guy just did. I don't really know why. And he's presumably buggered off now. He's been muted by somebody who hosts the server. Rather than constant chanting through me, which is what he decided to do when he was proven wrong. Now, this is what we're going to be stamping out. That's why we're here, right? Excellent and successful trip to Earth Awakening server, because instantly, when one of your own people on your own panel are putting forward claims that Earth is being referenced as a horizontal plane of reference, they then want to tell you that that's not Earth, that isn't proving Earth measured and referenced flat, when that's precisely what it is. I don't know why this is happening, but it is, and we're going to stamp it out.
Because they're hanging out in globe servers. That's why.
Argument that's
Go on, whoever that was killed.
Dude, it's like I'm witnessing an extinction level event, and the targeted people are Globers. I actually absolutely love it.
The targets of people aren't.
Hey, can I ask Nathan and the crew a question?
They're flat earthers that need more confidence in their
Here we go.
Go on, tank front something.
I think it was SC. SC was going to ask a question.
Yeah, I'd like to ask Nathan and the boys a question,
Feel free, SE.
if I may.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I was just wondering, I want to put this out. You guys, Nathan and the crew there, if somebody was to ask you what shape the Earth is as a whole, what would your answer be?
I'd say I don't know if it even has a shape. The aspect that we can measure and use to navigate, build on, etc., is flat. An aspect isn't a shape. So I don't know.
That's a good answer. That's a good answer. Nice. Thank you.
I told you we don't claim it. No one's claiming a shape, bro.
True. All it is.
I just wanted to get that out of the way. That's all. Good. This is
All right.
good. This is good.
But the part we're on is measuring flat in all aspects. England, America, rise over run. Like it's just they're measuring it flat everywhere we go.
Here's one from National Geographic. Sea level is the base level of measuring elevation and depth on Earth.
Yeah, so I don't understand entirely why we've got flat earthers that object to this and say it's not Earth being measured when we describe how Earth is measured. Very specifically, how Earth is measured flat. That's not Earth, is the response. It's so alien to me and confusing. But good, we're obviously on the right track to be doing this.
Like I said, ask them if the horizon's horizontal. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna say, yeah, the horizon's horizontal. Then they'll tell you it's not land meeting the thing. It's water, and the water. Like it's just. I don't even like to give this a lot of airtime, honestly, because it's crazy.
So, Oakley, question for you. All these different cities and townships that have been built observing level, because we know when those contractors go out and they put down their 6 to 12-foot levels to make sure that whatever they're building is in fact level. Would you say that those are not all witnesses to observing level? You've got Southern Hemisphere observations, cityscapes built in Australia. You've got Northern Hemisphere cityscapes built observing level. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, you've answered your own question. If they're all built level and that's level, well, I don't really understand what you're asking.
Problem is,
I guess at that point,
level, everybody knows what the definition of level is until this conversation pops up. Right? Level is the same for everybody in the world until you have to defend the globe. That's the only time the definition of level has to change a little bit. Right? Why would that be? Why is that a thing?
Also, you mentioned hemispheres.
Even the National
What do you mean, Killian? Is it Killian?
Yes, sir.
What do you mean by hemispheres? When you said hemisphere, north and south hemisphere, what do you mean by that?
On either side of the equator. To say I'm in Australia, I'm on the south side of the equator. To say that I'm in Tokyo, I'm on the north side of the equator.
That's not describing a globe hemisphere, as I now take it you are inferring. That's begging the question that Earth's spherical.
No, I'm not. I wasn't. When I say the hemisphere, I wasn't referring to the ground location, so to speak. Referring to the potential of there being an observed sky dome over us, a celestial sphere, if you will.
There is. That's how it's mapped.
Right. So the reference of the northern hemisphere versus the southern hemisphere is
No.
That's not problematic, is it?
Celestial. If you just go on, John.
You're invoking a hemisphere. Yeah. There are two hemispheres in the globe model, aren't there? But when we're talking about a celestial dome, then we have a hemisphere of our own individual celestial dome wherever we are. But there's an infinite number of celestial domes based on where you stand. They're not located in a north and a south celestial dome. One's a vision thing, but when you say hemisphere and you're relating to the, you are invoking a globe at that point. And that's why there was the instant objection.
It's hard to snap out of. I still use the word atmosphere sometimes, you know.
But no, that's actually a very, very fair point, because the idea of hemisphere, you invoke it because words mean stuff. So that's a good point. So if you're referring to the difference between being south of the equator versus north of the equator, without saying located north of the equator, south of the equator, what would you refer to those locations as, Nathan?
No, exactly that. North of the equator, south of the equator. The equator itself is arbitrarily just derived from a flat plane minimum elevation angle measurement to Polaris in the first instance. So this concept of the equator can't be described with hemispherical antipodal positioning because you're describing something that has an angle measurement to give you the arbitrary line we call the equator, a circle, at the minimum elevation angle to Polaris off a flat plane. So that the system the maps is using when describing a globe can get transposed because you have this concentric circle system coming from Polaris. So rather than Adam's description of your personal perspective dome of reference from your view now, that can relate directly to a grid system that's been taken from Polaris, a fixed star in the sky that you can measure outwards from on a flat plane to give you that grid system. But as soon as you move into invocation of hemispherical surfaces, because you're moving beyond the equator, well, what? Moving beyond the arbitrary point that you can't see Polaris if you extrapolate out the minimum angles as you move towards the equator, not taking into account the fact that you get a difference in the rate that it changes as you reach the equator, and then go beyond it and measure it on a flat plane to eventually see it actually disappear. All of these concepts mean nothing in terms of hemispherical positioning for us to stand on, because they're all derived from a flat plane. Just say one more thing. I'm about to round out my live show. First of all, thank you very much for having me. I'm so relieved that this went better than I expected. I thought we'd be far more I thought the reception would be far more hostile, and it hasn't been. So thank you for that. Moving forward, all of the examples that any globe believer comes to you with will start with a flat plane. And I'll give you one of my panel's quotes from Refracted Curvature. Say hello, John. Excellent timing. You guys need a flat plane more than we do. End quote, Refracted Curvature. Now, that was in reference to a discussion with a ball believer who came on and started making his position for a globe by using, as all of them will, flat Earth reference planes to start with. It won't matter what globe example they come up with. They're going to need a flat plane for it. Now, with that being the case, if you as a flat earther move forward into this discussion, knowing that Earth is measured flat and start with that as your starting point, when you get opposition from a globe believer, you can start taking their examples and showing them where their examples require a flat plane to use, to give them their globe example. Now, if they're a reasonably well-educated globe believer, there'll be many instances where they will agree with you because they know they need a flat plane to measure angles, for example. They might start mitigating it with tangent planes, and that would lead to you having to have a better understanding of how their heliocentric model doesn't work. But in the first instance, you've sought out a positive affirmation from them that they're going to require a flat plane to get angles from in this instance. That's them on the back foot. We're now moving forward into the discussion in 2024 on the front foot with a positive affirmation of a statement of fact that Earth's measured flat, and then taking globe heads examples that come back in rebuttal to our positive position and showing them how they need a flat Earth for it. That, to me, seems like it would be far less antagonistic to our opponents, and in rebuttal to their claims that they make, show them where they need a flat plane for their claims. That could change the tides of attitude in flat Earth. Not in our zealot opponents, they'll never change, but in the attitude of us and how we put this information out to the public, that will resonate with everyone who hears it and goes, that attitude that I'm not stupid and haven't got an open enough mind is gone, and now it's, I also understand how Earth was always flat. That's how it was always dealt with. I appreciated it from my globe proof that I held, rather than your globe proof's wrong. I hope that's clear. I've reiterated about 6 times in this server. That's what I'll be saying every time I come back, and thank you for having me in the server. Really do appreciate it. Got one more super chat to read out.
No
Godzilla
doubt,
says,
man.
best
Good
show in a
talk.
long minute. 4 more hours, maybe, in the after show. Don't want to outstay my welcome, Godzilla. Thanks for the super chat. Can I come again?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, sure. Come anytime. I mean, it's all good. It's all good.
Excellent. Well, you will see
Good
more of it.
afternoon, Nathan.
Who was that? That sounded like Flatsy.
Stacy? No.
Oh, is it Stacey? Oh, hey, Stacey.
Yeah. Hi, honey. How are you doing? I hope you're
Very
doing well.
Yes, it is. I'm
Good. Good
I'm
to
feeling
hear.
confident. I'm feeling more confident than ever having come into this server, to be perfectly honest, because of A, the
Really?
warm reception, B, I can't believe my luck in terms of the guy opposing us when he are describing measuring Earth flat, and he opposed it. Perfect. Couldn't have been better. I couldn't have asked for more. This was an absolute total success. Wonderful. Couldn't be more pleased.
Yeah, please. Seriously, we try to keep it very civil here in ways, but have that conversation. So I hope you can get more, and content, especially out of it too. So nice to have you here.
Stacey, what up? What up, Stace?
Yeah, and if somebody's
Oh,
interrupt when
even
you're
if-
speaking, we'll definitely stop that from happening here, Nathan.
No,
Same way the other
I know
way,
a lot of your names. You included Bookfin. There's a lot of familiar faces in it. I'm looking up and down the list, and that's nice. But by the same token, this is definitely we're the guests here, and I appreciate that. And we're here to lay down the law as well. So this is a fine balancing act that I've got to kind of perform while I'm in other people's servers. But I hope this is a starting point for that message that I've reiterated 7 times, that we should be proactively on the front foot with Flat Earth from this point forth.
Somebody's got to do it, Nathan. And I can't think of a better guy than you, Chewy. Everybody that has these rock solid proofs that Earth is flat.
Indeedy weedy.
Well, everybody's got proof the Earth is flat. I mean, you got to deal with it that way before you can do anything with it.
Absolutely correct. But with that, I'm going to say, if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, though, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. So another massive thank you to all of you who smashed the super chat, gifted memberships, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, joined as a member, and all that good stuff. Once again, stay tuned if you're watching on an after show. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
What a lovely day!